Everyone, I'm Natalia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing an in-depth thorough review of the Circle of Doors tarot. You know that I already done a very quick flip through. I have been working with this for a little bit over a week now, and I have a lot to say about this deck. And you know how much I love in-depth reviews of decks after having had a chance to work with them, kind of the same ideas that Racine on her channel, Owl Moon 513 does as well, because I think that those reviews are a little bit more meatier and more helpful to all of us when we're thinking about making purchase. So, Circle of Doors. I found it because an advertisement for this deck popped into my Instagram feed. The first time. I'm grateful for actually seeing ad commercials that seem to have worked out what seems to be in my favor. And I jumped on it because I immediately sensed a deep connection to this deck. And I was surprised that I haven't seen it before. I was surprised that I haven't heard most people talk about it. And then a friend of mine that I talked to on Instagram mentioned that this has actually been produced and released in 2014, and she has a 2014 copy. So it's really interesting that it's been around, but hasn't circulated as much around. If you know me, you know that I have been searching for some time now for a deck that has more of a crone energy. And I'm always on the lookout for an all feminine deck. I have Burning Heart Papers, The Witch's Tarot. I think I put it away in a box. And I adore production. I love the cardstock and the quality. I love the images. There's some cards, especially the Tower card, the way it's depicted there, the Chariot, Queen of Wands, that just get my heart. Having said that, I personally struggle with the deck because some of the images feel like I have a difficult time connecting them to archetypes. But to me, it's the first all-women deck that I have, apart from the Fool being the creator himself. And of course, I have Muse Tarot by Chris Anders, also all-female tarot deck, but it has different energies. It has that crone energy. It has that maiden, energetic, creative energy. I have Jessica Zinchuk Story Medicine Tarot, which is also all feminine deck. And that deck has a combination of energy, a different type of energy. I would say actually more motherly energy now that I think about it. So I have been on the lookout for an all-female deck and a deck where the women in it have a range of age. And for me, preferably, I was craving an older energy. When I say older, it doesn't mean that the women portrayed had to be older in chronological age, but there's an energetic feel, there's a sage feel, a wisdom feel coming from a woman that has an older essence to her, that cronish essence to her. And that's what I've been looking for a while. So when I saw this deck, I jumped on it because it immediately felt like a crone energy. And let me tell you, it absolutely does. This is a disclaimer. I will be gushing over this deck. I seldom gush over a deck the way I'm going to gush about this deck. I've been known to sell ice to Eskimo. So if you watch this and you are eager to just jump on it and buy it, my suggestion to, the deck is not going to go away. It's not limited edition. Sleep on it and wake up and see how you feel about the deck. Unless you want to jump on it, go for it. I'll be very happy if creators just get the stats circulated. Okay, so let's get on review. This is, by the way, not sponsored. I don't, the deck was bought by my own money. I'm not going to go over specs. You can see it on the creator's website. I'm going to link it down below. With the exception that I'm going to say is that the production is beautiful. The box is beautiful. The booklet that comes with it is amazing. Not to mention the content inside is fantastic, and we'll go over this in a bit. The deck is great too. It came in a box. You have an option of buying it just as a deck. I think it's $65, or you have an option buying it a deck, and they offer a linen little pouch with the key on it for additional $25 or $20. I bought just a box. And when I got the deck felt like it needed a bag. I don't really use bags, which is interesting because I always keep them in a box, but I felt a feeling that I'll be dragging this deck around with me, and I'm right. So I got this deck on Etsy that just arrived today, just in time for this review. And this is crow feathers. I thought that this crow and crone energy together, fantastico. So I have a link below where I bought this bag. It's great. It's nice weight. It has beautiful crow feathers going all around. I hope it'll stay, won't fall off over time. But it's $33 for this quality. I think is great price. So I'll link it below. Again, I'm not making any money off of this. So my God, I love this deck. A friend of mine, Victoria, who got this deck, she loves it. So not only, let me tell you quickly, the cardstock is very nice linen cardstock, shuffles like a dream, and it's gold edged all around. So great, the production value is great, and you can get more specs from the website. I worked with this deck for about 3 to 4 days before I had a feeling that I'm going to need a backup copy. I don't do backup copies ever. The only decks that I have 2 of is this one, and only because this is my copy, and then I have another copy to use when I do readings for other people. And the only other decks that I have 2 of is the Ritual Tarot. And not as a backup copy, by the way, even though I love this deck, because I wanted the last card that came with 2nd edition. So I don't do backups. This is the first deck that made me want to get a backup, and I got a backup. And I'm happy as that I did. So this is just kind of sharing to you how, for me, this is of that magnitude, I feel. It comes with a booklet. This is what I learned that's so interesting about this deck. It was created by 2 women who are both artists in their own right. And this deck was created, and then it was showcased, you can see on a website, in this beautiful, huge installation during Burning Man. It's a festival. I don't really know much about Burning Man. Actually, it's interesting. I just have a new client I've been working with who does Burning Man festival almost every year. And there's the ones who told me about it, but never heard of Burning Man before. So they did this installation there. And what I thought was really interesting, because the deck is so feminine, is that it was created by 2 women, but the booklet is written by Taylor scholar Brian Duffy. I was very surprised to hear that. When I spent a week with the booklet, it made sense. It made sense because there's such a balance to this deck. I'll show you some cuts of it. There's such a balance to this deck with feminine and masculine energy. It is incredibly balanced. And I thought, well, of course, it makes sense that a man and a woman have created this deck, both being very soulful human beings. And hence, that's why it has such a balanced point of view. This is one of the best tarot booklets I have seen. And I have seen a lot of tarot booklets. My other favorites, a lot of you might know, is Margaret Peterson. I also love, what is the other one I'm trying to think of? There's a few, but there's not a lot of guidebooks that offer a fresh, new perspective. This guidebook, well, first of all, you get a whole, and you can see the installations that did here in Burning Man. But you get the image reproduction. The best part, sorry, the light goes off and out because I'm so close. The best part of the booklet is right on the bottom, you have a little poetic verse. It's the best one. For majors, then you get a little snippet, which is another best thing. And then there's not going to be, you don't get description of why depict the image or what being depicted, but you get a very beautiful, soulful writing of the card, and then you get affirmations in the bottom, which is great for journaling. Let me read you just what the short description says about the fool to get a taste. I'd like to try again, this time as if none of it happened. Send me to the very beginning before anyone knew the truth. And then here it says, trust the journey. So what I love about this book is that it offers, the description that you get offers a very, it's not Rider-Waite-Smith, it's not sauce, it doesn't read esoteric, it reads soulful, it reads depthful, it reads it invites you to introspect. It's has so far shown me the cards that are so dear and familiar to me in a completely different light. There are tarot decks, Rider-Waite-Smith Zos, just to give you a very banal example. And then there are the tarot decks. They're still tarot, but it's something else altogether. Mary L. comes to mind. Margaret Peterson comes to mind. Circle of Doors comes to mind. Their decks, like I said, Zos and Rider-Waite-Smith tends to give those keywordly interpretation of the cards we're all familiar with. And then there's decks that say, forget this what you know about the interpretation. Forget that the Fool is starting your journey, or forget that Five of Pentacles is a hardship. Let me take you deeper. What's underneath that banal interpretation? Let me take you to the soul searching so that your soul, not your mind, connects to interpretation, but your soul, your heart connects to the meaning of the card and connects you to the relationship that you're experiencing with that archetype. And those decks, in my opinion, are rare. So this is one of such deck. You can see that I have put in here annotations because what I like is this. When they talk about majors, now I've seen people break down the major arcana into three sections, from Fool to, and they often say that from Fool to Chariot for 7 cards, it's your development of the self. From Chariot to, I think it's Temperance, it is your evolution of the soul. And then from the Temperance all the way to the World, it is your kind of fate, destiny, karmic imprint. And people say it differently, but they tend to break it down into three types of your, I guess, heroine's journey. But here they say that the first 11 cards, I never heard that before actually, from Fool to Wheel of Fortune, speak to our civilized lives, the roles we play as we relate to each other as a culture and society. They evoke the sacred dimensions of the seemingly ordinary. They reveal us all to be mythological heroes and legendary royalty, no matter how small and powerless we may often feel. The next 11 cards, from Strands to Universe, speak to our cosmic identity, the connections we have to the titanic forces that move through all of space and time. I thought that was interesting. So the cards are broken down into they modified a little bit. So the shells become pentacles, the keys become wands, which if you saw my unboxing of this deck, the keys being the wands is just brilliant, because it's with the key we unlock another doorway into our future. And the key is our will, it's our fire, it's our soul, it's our ideas burning, it's our thoughts burning in there. And that becomes the keys that unlocks. Knives are swords in here, and cups are water. What I thought that they did that was very, very clever and very are the keywords they have selected for the cards. The keywords are fresh, soulful, and reflective. I also like how in a booklet here, they talk about court cards, which they call the cycle cards, because the cycle cards will have maiden, mother, maga, and crone. For the page, knight, queen, and king. And each one is broken down into season. And I like how to talk about the seasons. So, for example, the maiden is a spirit of spring and the waxing moon. She's the master of desire, the avatar of enchantment, potential, and expansion. See how they're connected to the waxing moon? You also immediately learn about phases of the moon. She's the promise of new beginning and the season, by the way, as well. The maiden is optimistic, but she's not naive. She's always eager to learn more and always sees the best in everyone she meets. She's the seed of possibility. So I really love that take on the court cards, because the court cards are often very challenging for a lot of people to read. In this case, you can see how energetically it exhibits the cycle you're in. I have been just telling my friend Victoria that I've been drawing Crone of Keys, which is in this case King of Fire. I've been drawing her for 3 days straight. When I've been asking in the morning, how can I best utilize my energy today? I've been getting this one, and she stands for visionary. And for the past 3 days, I've been brimming with ideas for the podcasts that I just started on this channel and my other channel for my psychology content. I have been brimming with ideas for the podcasts I've been recording, I've been creating, I've been making videos, which is, there you go. So I like when you get a court card. In this case, you can see, so for example, this is Crone. The Crone is the spirit of winter and the new moon. She's the master of discipline, the avatar of precision, practicality, and maturity. She's the promise of harmony. The Crone has learned the deep secrets of life and death and safeguards them for the benefit of future generations. She is the refinement of wisdom. Just beautiful. And this is just for the Crone, by the way. This is not a message for this particular Crone. So the booklet is very good. There are tarot decks out there that are brutally honest. Aleister Crowley's Deck is an example. Deviant Moon is another great example. They're brutally honest to the point that sometimes reading with a deck that's brutally honest is not the best thing, because we can be resistant to that which comes up. This deck is honest, but it doesn't go to the brutally honesty route. What it does, it proposes a message for you that opens up a doorway to seeing what you haven't seen before. It puts you in position to self-reflect deeply. And when you do that, you get to the brutal honesty yourself. And that is the best thing, because when we get to our aha ourselves without having somebody tell us, we shift, we change, we take it in better. Think about anytime you ask somebody for advice and they were brutally honest with you, you were probably less likely to interject and take that advice in, versus when you yourself had suddenly an aha self-reflective moment. This is what this deck does. Another thing about this deck, I will show the cards. Another thing about this deck, I was talking to Victoria, and she said, I told her that because I refill shuffle, so I'm very abusive to my decks. And I told her that this deck is easy to get scuffed up. What I mean scuffed up is when over here it gets a little bit peeling or whatnot. And she gasped, which made me laugh. She gasped because she wants hers to be perfect. And I told her, I said, no, this deck, the way I feel this deck, she wants to get scuffed up. She wants to get beaten up. She wants to be used. She wants to have that used up look. And it will get scuffed up because also when gilding, everybody who knows decks and has decks with gold gilding like this gold gilding is quick to kind of, it is just what it is. It's beautiful production, but it's this type of gilding, that's what it does. But the point being is, I was reflecting on the fact that this deck wants to be scuffed up. And why am I picking up that energy from this deck? And it dawned on me that this is a very, very feminine deck, even though it has a very good balance of masculine from the person who wrote the booklet. Nonetheless, the primary energy of this deck is feminine. And I would even go as far as to say it is the dark feminine, the repressed feminine that is coming through the deck in a very balanced. Sometimes when our feminine has been repressed, the dark feminine can come out initially as angry, reactive, ready to torch everything around because it has been repressed for so long. This is the dark feminine that had time to ground herself, had time to understand why she feels angry, and now she's presenting that in this beautiful way where you can really take it and grow from it. The reason why this deck, I feel, wants to be used and feel like it doesn't want to remain perfect, in other words, is because the dark feminine, the repressed feminine is not perfect. She has been through so much. She has been through the most difficult time. She has been through and is going through guardian patriarchy. She has been through so much. She has been through not being able to speak. She has been through the burning time. She has been, you name it. She has been through a lot. So I feel that this deck doesn't want to remain pretty or perfect in precise form because it's telling me that that is not me. I am a woman with big, big W. I am the big feminine. I am beautiful in all shapes and forms. I'm not this perfect packaged modern version of what somebody wants a woman to be, photoshopped and glamorized and not a single wrinkle in place, and you're 70 but you look like you're 40. Again, if that's your thing, trust me, this is for each its own. But this is what I feel like she's telling me. So even though I got her a pretty bag, she's getting beat up with me already. Now, as I show you the cards, let me tell you how this deck reads. And this deck has all women. There's two cards that look to me like I can't really tell what gender exactly it is. But as far as I know, it's an all feminine deck. And it does have, as you can see, maiden and mother energy in it too. So it's not all mature women, but it gives out a mature, sage, wise energy, sage wisdom. It reads very, very clear. It asks you to sit with it. It gives you food for thought. It is the deck that I feel doesn't want to have a clarifier because it doesn't need to clarify things. It reads very clearly. And during the moments when I still need more, I just ask the deck to give me more and I draw another card. This deck wants to be in a conversation. It really wants to teach. It has a very strong that sage woman energy. It really wants to teach. It wants to show. It wants you to step into your empowerment. It wants you to step. This is one of the cards I was talking about where I can't tell what gender it is. I drew it another day when I was reading on question regarding money and the store shelves, and this person is holding money. And the booklet is great on this too. As you can see, there's a child too. And as I talked in my flip through of this video, if you haven't seen this, one of my favorite cards in here, 10 of knives, 10 of swords, because nobody's getting pierced, nobody's pinned down, nobody's dead. To me, 10 of swords is all about ego death. It's about a part of our ego that is now dead, because swords are thought processes. So it's a part of our ego that is now dead. And I love how she's holding this, what looks like a crayon or a raven, almost ready to fly. And the keyword is resurrection. I have nothing but amazing things to say about this deck. If you're on a fence, I would say you will not be disappointed. It's very rare for me to get the deck and from the get-go be so enamored with it. It feels that this deck came to me now in my life at a very right time. And I think that if you're watching this and if it's yanking at you, it's probably yanking for a reason. I also feel there is a cosmic reason why this deck was initially produced in 2014. And 8 years later, now in 2023, 9 years later, oh my God, I can do math today. Unbelievable. Yeah, 9 years later, this deck is now getting into our hands more and more. I think there's some cosmic reason for readiness for it. 3 of Knives, as I talk in flip through, is another one, the dark mood. I never see this card as a heartache, ever. It is always a melancholic card for me. I'm a shrink, so I look at the cards from a very psychological point of view in terms of how they affect our psyche. So for me, just never heartache. I think this deck is a sister, really. It's just a sister to all of us. And I think, like I said, if you're on a fence and you're watching this and it's yanking at you, I would get this deck. Look at this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous stock card. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this deck. It has been reading like a dream. It has been very clear. Look at this matriarch or emperor. It has been very clear. It has been very precise, very contemplative. The booklet is great. And I think for an all-women deck, this makes me think of Queen of Sand. Looks somewhat resembling Queen of Sand from Tube on here. So I think if you are on a fence, I would really recommend this deck. If you're into photography decks, it's no-brainer. If you're looking for a deck with a cron energy, I would recommend this deck. If you're looking for a deck that's going to take you on a journey of introspection, I would get this deck. I love this depiction of 10 of Cups. I never like how a lot of other decks depict 10 of Cups. I love how there's this baby and the keyword is peace, which is exactly what you get with all of those 10 cups gathering around. You just get a peace. I'm trying to find the other deck that looked like, I couldn't tell what gender it was. Oh, it's this one, 5 of Keys, which is a struggle. And I love the booklet interpretation for 5 of Keys. Let me read you quickly before we go another minor interpretation so that you get a little bit of a taste. Let's read you Five of Keys. I actually drew it recently. This is a Five of Wands. And I thought that it was such a great description of it. Here we go. So 5 wands for all of us. In a single moment, all of my plans become useless, surrounded by smoke and rage and blood. This battlefield could snuff me out, or it could make me a warrior. That's a little, my favorite, the poetry on the bottom. Now, here's what it says about the card. When you finally enter the arena and your plans bump up against the plans of another, you may find your powers challenged, mocked, and dismissed. The old ways of past generations will try to bind you, single you out for hostile questioning, and these assaults will all be blessed opportunities. You cannot know how strong you are until you have some resistance to push against, and you cannot know what you really believe until you have to defend your beliefs. That's brilliant. The trials and disasters of this world are designed to chip away at the marble block of your being to reveal the hero hiding within, and your mastery is a blade that must be forged and tempered in the fires of uncertainty and conflict. And by the way, every reading in the booklet is finished with questions for you to contemplate on before we get to affirmations. So the questions are, is your dream strong enough to endure adversity? Will you dare to accept a worthy challenge? What can you only learn about yourself when you're overcoming obstacles? Affirmations. I'm eager for a worthy challenge. My obstacles are my teachers. This too shall pass. Pain sets me free. So there we go. Circle of Doors, Tarot. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you got it. Let me know if you've been reading with it. What do you think? What do you like about it? Let me know if you are planning to get it. If you know me, I seldom gush over decks. I have had a lot of decks come through my hands over the course of 7 or 8 years being on Tarot YouTube. And a lot of them come and go. A lot of them bring something new to the tables. But this is, to me, are right there in the company of Mary L., Margaret Peterson. One of those decks that just really something very, very soulful, very special, very full of crown. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.